Hi folks, today I've got the SP70 from Sofirn to have a look at. I brought the kit version. I'll explain what that is in a moment. But the first thing that should be obvious, this light isn't fitting in your shirt or coat pocket, is it? So why on earth would you opt for a light of these epic proportions? Well, there are three reasons for that, and in no particular order what those reasons are is, firstly, literally the size and the amount of aluminium and heat sinking on this torch is going to allow for really effective heat dissipation, and thus we can expect fewer heat related problems during use. Next thing to consider, look at the size of that lens. Lumens are a little bit of a lie sometimes. What we need to know is the lumen output and how well and efficiently those lumens are being used. So a light with a reflector like that is going to use, for example, 2000 lumens much better than a tiny little lens like that. And then perhaps your last consideration is your power source, and this light will run from two 26-650s, which, if you got the kit version, it comes supplied with. Let me move the torch out of the way. We've got some spares that it came with, a couple of sleeves there if we want to use 18-650s. But if you'll allow me to digress just for a short moment, this charger, I'm normally a bit skeptical of chargers that look like this that come supplied with lights. I never really trust them, to be honest with you. But given that Sofirn have supplied this, I thought, oh, I'll just give it a chance and give it a quick test. So what I've got here is two unprotected cells in there, so I'm not relying on the batteries to look after themselves, I'm relying on the charger. And the green lights are on. Now crucially, what I'm checking for is this little device over here that I'm connected to is measuring the power that this charger is pulling or requesting, and at the moment 0. So the charger has detected that those batteries are full and it is no longer drawing any power. If I take one of them out, put that battery in there, turns red, I can see from my little device now it is drawing power. Take the battery out and now it isn't. So a very decent little charger that it comes with, which is always a bonus. So let's have a quick look at our manual if I can hold it steady. There we go. The default mode is stepped, and we've got eco, low, medium and high. 60 lumens, 400, 1200, 3000, 5500. Look at those run times. 54 hours, 15 hours over, 5 hours over, 2 hours 48 on high. I noticed on the web page, by the way, it says 2 hours 28 in the manual. On the web page it says 2 hours 48 for high. I don't know which one of those two is right. And then turbo, 1 hour 42 minutes. We've got a ramping mode if we want it. And it also then goes on to discuss the temperature regulation. Now, just grabbing these batteries for a second, because I've got to explain this, what I'd seen on Sofirn's webpage. It tells us that it runs at 5,500 lumens, which is what it says in the manual, using common 26-650s. I don't know what a common 26-650 is. And the web page goes on to tell us that when using PLB cells, we can get closer to 7,000 units now lumens. I don't know what a PLB cell is, and I don't know what a common cell is either. So I tried the SP70 with a variety of batteries of these max top ones there, notably the Keep Power Unprotected 30 amp max discharge and 50 amp pulse. I've not found a torch that needed anything more than this battery could give it, and I tested it with both, and I wasn't reading any significant difference on the SP70 in between either of those two batteries. So I'm not particularly sure whether it's running at 5,500 or 7,000. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter when you go outside and have a look, and I'll show you that later. The other thing to mention as well, the light says it has two heat protections in there. At 3 minutes it has a hard step down, a time step down, or 60 degrees, whichever comes sooner. Now I've run the SP70 on its turbo, which I kept on re-engaging the moment it clicked off after 3 minutes. I did that 6 or 7 times and I couldn't get the temperature to go above 37. And here we go, the light's magically reappeared. Yeah, I couldn't get the light to go above 37 and it wasn't feeling hot at all, so I personally felt that that 3 minute step down was a bit conservative, but nothing to particularly worry about. You can just double click it and straight back up to turbo again. It also goes on to say in the manual that the high mode has a 30-minute hard step down. I haven't tested that, but I'll take their word for it. So apologies for digressing there a little bit onto the batteries and the lumens and the heat step downs, but I felt it was important to try and cover that. So let me try and swiftly move on now and speak about the operation of the light, which is pretty straightforward. We can turn him on with the tail cap at the end, and then the side button controls our modes. We can just hold it and cycle through our eco, low, medium and high, or double click for our turbo. So it's a combination of those two that we're using. And we've also got the ramping mode if you would like to use that as well. So I think I've done about 6 minutes worth of waffling on now, and we need to take this light out and actually show you the interesting part. So I shall clear off now and catch up when we're outside. Hi folks, that's the Sofirn SP70 now on its lowest level. As you can see, that's putting out a very respectable amount of light, and let's jump up to our next. This is what I was referring to in terms of how well a light will use such a low lumen output. I'm only on its low mode. The one before was eco, this one's low, and it's cutting down that path great. Up one more to our medium. No problem at all, straight down to the end of that path. High. That's getting even more impressive, isn't it? And then turbo. And because this light's using that sort of highest 3000 level, I think it was on its high mode, we're not seeing a massive jump over the turbo, are we? Let's back down to our high and scroll through again. Really balanced, leaning on the throwy type lens, isn't it? So I'll carry on and have a walk. Sorry for the wind, and I'll show it you a little bit further on. Hi folks, I'm quite a bit further on now with the SP70. I'll skip its eco mode. I'm on the low mode, those two trees there at 100 meters, and I won't know whether the wind ruined my earlier footage. I think I'm out of it a little bit at the moment, so apologise if I repeat. You can see how the lens, what I was explaining earlier on, is really giving you very acceptable performance, isn't it, from such a low output. As we move up to medium and then high mode at 3000 lumens. Sorry about the wind. It's been doing that all bloody night. Excuse my French. And it's freezing cold as well. So there's 3000 lumens. As I work down the side of this lake. I mean, have you ever seen 3000 lumens do that? And I'm getting a very wide spot. Floody, probably more towards a throwy type beam. And of course, what I was mentioning there, I've got no heat problems at all with this. I'm going to get 30 minutes before the hard step down, timed step down kicks in, and I can just simply re-engage it, or 60 degrees, but as I mentioned, it wasn't getting anywhere near 60. And if I go to turbo, and again, you're not seeing a massive jump. That's because it's that blooming bright anyway, jumping from 3000 to 5500. It's not that noticeable. But I'll show you again on its highest setting. And I'm not sure whether that's 5,500 or 7,000, based on what I was saying earlier on about the kind of the PLB cells, whatever that means. But to be honest with you, I don't really care. I mean, that is just, keep on hearing things creeping around behind me now. It's disconcerting in these woods. Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, that's just a phenomenal output, isn't it? It's like your own little portable searchlight. And I'll just cycle through again. Low, medium, high. I skipped it there, didn't I? There we go. High, turbo. So folks, if you're looking for a light that is just going to run and run and run and throw out that amount of power with those immense run times, give this one a look. And do apologise for the wind, folks, and I'll catch you on the next one.